Okay, let's go live. It's James speaking. Wednesday afternoon, open classroom. Hopefully, I'll do some checks here. We got everything going. As always, put any questions in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you haven't been these before, these are totally live, unscripted, uh, basically me talking about stuff. And if you do have questions going through, and if there's no questions, I may just rant for a little bit, but we'll see what happens there. So again, if you haven't been here before, trainingsites.il, make sure to go to the link below and sign up and join our community. I got all sorts of great resources for anyone who wants to start, build, and grow an education business. And there is some neat stuff happening in the world of AI that I can talk about, or if you just want to talk about creating online courses, we can do that too. Irrespective, there is some really cool stuff happening that I'm excited about, that I think is going to be a lot of fun. So there we go. David's here. Perfect. Glad to have you, David. And again, we'll play around with this stuff as best as I can, and I'll show you on the screen while we're doing it, and then hopefully that will help. Okay. Any questions, David, or anything you wanted to cover or take a look at? If you don't, that's fine too, because I have some stuff that I have been doing already that we can kind of follow up on as well. But it is really, 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 really neat times in this whole space for content creators, video creators, with all of the AI things that are happening. So as I said before, ask questions, and I'll try and touch on that as well. And I think just while we're waiting, if anyone else comes on, some more people come on, um, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, there's something that happened over the weekend for OpenAI or ChatGPT. Some stuff happened on, I think it was Friday or Saturday, and then again on Monday, that is going to have huge fundamental changes in everything that we're doing when we're creating an education business, when we're selling our courses, when we're building our courses. Again, this stuff is happening quickly, and it's going to actually be even faster over the next little while. So let me see if they do have any questions here. We'll keep on flipping back and forth to any questions. Again, put them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. And I think what I'll do is just, if anyone doesn't have any questions yet, I'm just going to kind of share where my thinking is. And I did a video up that isn't posted yet about this, but I'll touch on it here because I think it's important to put stuff in perspective for the stuff that changed for us as real people over the last little while. So let me just pull this up here. I'll bring my video pencil on board and see if I can get that to work. There we go. So if you haven't seen my video pencil, what's a good word for it? It's actually, I think it is called video pencil, but it's for the Mac and allows me to scribble on the screen and have it show up. So hopefully that'll be able to get connected here. And we'll get that. Is it working? Let me try one more time to get it connected. Do it one more time. Just going to open this up and then we'll open it again. No go. Okay, it's not going to connect, so we won't be able to do it that way. Let me go back to here. So here's kind of the thing that's happening with the OpenAI space and all of that. So I'm going to pull this over here so that we have it, so you can just see it and understand what I'm talking about. There we go. So on Monday, OpenAI launched this thing called Deep Research, and you're going to hear a whole bunch about it. And the video that I did earlier today that'll be up shortly is about it. And basically what it is think of it this way, where we normally had to do prompts back and forth to get an answer about something, or we made a request and got a response back. One of the things that this one does is it basically just does like it says, does deep research. So we can give it one or two tasks that are very specific, and for example, it'll bring back a full, super detailed report with references. So think of it if you're creating a course or you want to create a lesson on something, and you just say, look, I want to have all of the latest information about pickleball, and I want you to create a course based on the current trends, opportunities, growth, and all of that kind of stuff about the course. And normally what we'd have to do is we'd have to go and figure it out ourselves, right, and do the research. But in this particular case, you could give one task to deep research, and it would basically come back after working for 5, 10, 15 minutes, it would go to all of the available websites that it needed to. It would search the websites, the PDFs, the images, and it will actually analyze them and do the work of putting it all together, any complex task, seeing how they connect to each other, and then providing you a detailed report. The reports that I saw in some of the demos here that they had on YouTube were anywhere like from 40 to 50 pages, tables, images, graphs, everything was done for you in a single document. And the thing that's neat with this is when you think about it is we're going to be in a situation pretty soon where we're going to be able to say, hey, look, I want to do a course on this. Give me what I need to create that course. And in the examples that I did, just playing around with ChatGPT to ask how this would work for us as course creators, the ones that were interesting was, if I said, and again, I'll cover these ones, I have this in a video, but let's say, for example, um, where's one here? Yeah. So for example, if I gave it a prompt, let me go to the end here. So just to give an example of one. Any of the things that you normally do in a course launch or a video launch or anything like that, it's like, you've got to create the title, the featured images, the thumbnails, the emails that go out, the social media posts, the lesson text, all of that stuff that you have to do, you'd be able to put into one or two prompts and basically get that material back to you. That includes the scripts, and the scripts will be based on your existing content that maybe you've given it as something to search from. They could be competitors, for example, other people's material, other people's website, but it can give you a report or script based on this stuff. And this is going to change a whole bunch of things for us, right? Because there's going to be people that will know how to use these things and they're going to be pumping out content. Some of it may not necessarily be their own, but the opportunity is there to speed up the time it takes for us to create content. I think that's a real benefit for us. Is if you are building an education business, a one course education business is a course business. It's not an education business. And I don't think that's something that we're going to be able to kind of focus on as a real business model moving forward. So just pay attention to that. All sorts of stuff is happening. Yeah, the video pencil fill wasn't working. Let me just see. It did work. Let me just see if it came up again. Hey, there we go. It did connect. Thank you. Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. What else we got for comments here before I do it? Which plan we to use for that? Okay, that's a good question. And then give me some examples of AI capabilities for scams. Okay, so here's where I think things are basically and where things are going. And I'll try my video pencil again. I'm going to use the verbal commands with video pencil, so we'll see how that works. So if I take a look and I'm thinking about this, I think we have three kind of stages with it. So here's kind of the first spot where we have ChatGPT. Hey, there we go. That part worked. So I got ChatGPT here, and that's something where we prompt, right? So when we're using ChatGPT, it's us request, response, request, response. Now, the other thing that happened in the end of December, beginning of January, is two things happen. One is OpenAI opened something or added something called tasks. Let's see if I can get that one to work. So we'll do that one. Tasks. There we go. And tasks were when we could give a prompt and it would either happen on a recurring basis or basically we tasked something to happen and it happened on our behalf. So that was kind of neat. And then there was another one that came out at the same time, and that one was called Operator. And what Operator was, is that was one that basically it was an agent that did all of the steps that we normally had to do within the browser, and we would basically follow it along in the browser. So it was an agent that it was based on the browser. So they announced those two things. The one thing that was missing in the middle here was this deep research. So research. There we go. So this is the part that came in on Monday, this research part. And this is the part where it goes from us who are prompting So right now, it prompts. So we've gone from us prompting to the AI prompting, and then this next piece is for us is it's going to do the work. So we're very close to this. So if you think about it, we're prompting, we're prompting, we're prompting, we do all this kind of stuff. Then we put it together in some kind of research form. So we have all of the information put together in a way that we want. And then for us, what we're doing is we're actually creating the videos, creating the syllabuses, adding it to the websites. So in the future, near future, this year, I'm betting that all three of these pieces are going to be in place, so that we're going to have agents that will actually go and do the operator tasks in the browser, like copy stuff from one page to another, upload documents or course materials to our thing, add them to our YouTube account, bring them to Vimeo, put them into our actual email autoresponder, and it's going to have done the research, and we're basically going to be the ones that have to be creative. So this is where I think things are coming, which is kind of exciting. And that's why this stuff on Monday was pretty important. Now, this these sections here, this one requires right now this you need a pro plan. The research one needs a pro plan. The plus plan will be available in February. And if you have a pro account now, you can see it. And in fact, if you go and watch, there's lots of people I know that I follow that are in this whole space. If you just do OpenAI, deep research OpenAI, and do a search, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of demos for it. And actually, this one right here, Introduction to Deep Research, that one was actually kind of technical, but it gives you an idea of what's kind of happening. Um, and some really neat stuff here. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of how does this actually fit in with a small business owner? Anything that you had to do where you were using ChatGPT and having it to do research and combine everything, we're going to be able to use some simple tasks or simple prompts, and it's going to come back with an actual report if we ask for a report. The one thing that I was doing, I was kind of thinking, well, I don't want to report back. What I really want is I want it to basically bring me, for a small business, I want to have it come back and say, here's the emails that you send, here's the social media posts that you need to make, here's the syllabus for a course, here's the scripts for the course, but it's going to do that research, and it's going to be doing it live in real time in the background without us prompting, but it's going to work and come back with that stuff for you. So in the examples they showed, it was all about doctors and scientists and mathematicians putting this together. That's what it was probably intended for. I'm thinking, okay, cool. Let's take a look at it from the perspective of a business person. How can it save me time, and how can I make money from it? And the stats that I got, a couple of things just to put this in perspective, that you would have, if you had to make, for every 10 prompts you made in that first area there where we prompt, you'd be able to get by with 1 or 2 prompts using the research one. So this is, again, multiple times more efficient than what we were normally doing in the past, which is pretty exciting and cool when you think about it. So um, again, any questions? If you have questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer those ones. Um, which plan for this? Pencil's working. That operator research stuff, that's cool. I like that. That's going to be really exciting. There's still questions to answer, of course, but who knows what the what'll actually end up in the end. Now I know I did have one question. I don't know if the person's on today, but I will do my best to answer it. One of the questions was, how do I create an avatar or put together some kind of profile that would help me kind of search for the right person that I was targeting my information at? And I think the easiest way to do that, and I'll just open up one of the prompts that I did here. And I added a series of prompts. Let's do this one here. I haven't got all of these put together, but I put together some prompts so that you'd be able to see how this would particularly work. So I'm just going to open it up. And again, I'll put the link below to this particular screen that I'm going to be looking at. There we go. So let me view the document here, and we'll open it up. So what I did is I put together a client profile one, and it's a series of prompts that you can use to basically find out basic demographic information, backgrounds, goals, pain points and challenges, buying behavior, objections, preferred communication channels for the space that you're in. So these are a whole bunch of prompts that you can use to kind of narrow down what it is that you're doing, or who you're creating courses for, or who you're creating or your content for. And I do have a master prompt for this as well, but these are just ones to think of that you may not have thought of in the past. And this is just a great example of what might happen when we're using deep research, right? So I've got 10 prompts or 15 prompts here, and I could just say in a deep research example, excuse me, give me a detailed profile of an avatar of my professional client that is for my business selling this widget or creating these courses. And it would go out and do all of the current research trends, search the website, search PDFs, search images, all that information, and basically give us a report of the particular person that we're either trying to sell to or that we are selling to or creating our courses to or want to. And then basically, just say, what are the course content or the things that do that? So there's a classic example of how this is going to change stuff again. And I'll put the link here in below so that everyone does have it. And I do have a master prompt, it's just not added here, that basically does all of this in one prompt to give you a paragraph or two to describe who it is that you're trying to actually help out. So again, more questions. Who's got questions? Let me know. And I'll do my best to answer them. If there is, I know I talked about maybe the OpenAI stuff and the ChatGPT stuff. If there are prompts that you want to find, I do have lots of them available, and those ones are all available here. I'll put this in we go to the community, you'll see it in a couple places just so that you have it. And again, if you haven't joined this is free. The community, go to the trainingsites.io/join. And I do have on the left-hand side here, my mouse is moving up and down. You'll see there's the prompt library that will bring you here. And these are basically a library of prompts, how I use them, where I use them. They should be available for you to look at here. And there's tons of them available. Again, all of these are available for you to see how they work. Okay, so those ones are there. Back to the community. Okay, give me some questions, guys. What do you got? Anything you want to know about? What is the stuff that's important, not important? What are the challenges that you have? What are things that are working well or not working well? Has everyone got a course together? Let me know if you've got a course or you want me to look at something in the chat. Just let me know what you want. I'll take a look through and we can actually play around with it if you want. Or if you have questions about the campus, stuff that's happening there, I'll do my best to cover those as well. So nothing at all. Come on, type in there. What else can we do today? Would it help if we did some? Am I using DeepSeek? That's one that we can certainly talk about. The answer, I'll give you that one right away. The answer is no. I'm not using it. There are two ways to use it. A lot of people are installing it, the more technical people, and running it locally. There is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's this one. There is a public version that is available that you can go play around with it there. Yeah. So if you have, I think it's this one here. This is the active one. This is the one that's available. You can go play around with it. I'm not using it personally at this point, and there's all sorts of technical information about it. I'm not there yet personally. And that's the thing. That's the thing that's interesting when all of this stuff comes out. Is there's going to be a lot of tools, a lot of different models, all that noise around it. And I think the thing that's important is that we stay focused. At least that's what I'm trying to do on what is my go-to tools that I need to perform the tasks that I need to perform. And I think a lot of us, and myself, in when I look at what I'm doing, I get caught sometimes going, there's a cool tool to do that, or there's a cool tool to do that. The question is, do I need to be doing it to actually build my business or create better courses? So there's a ton of wonderful tools that do specific things. And you can spend a lot of time, energy, and effort learning how to use them and then doing something with it. But at the end of the day, does it actually help you grow your business? I did a video where I tried to kind of compare it to the movie Moneyball. And if you haven't seen that before, the big idea with Moneyball was you don't buy the names and spend the money on stuff if they don't get on base. And that whole thing was, do they get on base? Do they get on base? Do they get on base? And the only thing that you worked on is stuff that got you on base. So when I look at all the AI tools like DeepSeek, do I pay attention to them personally? Yeah, I do. Do I understand what they're doing and how they apply? Yeah, I try and do that. But right now, I'm basically on ChatGPT, Claude, Notebook LM, and Perplexity. Those are the four that I still stick with. And the one thing that's interesting for me personally is I find that I go as different changes in those models happen, I switch back and forth between them. Like until the new stuff came out with the O3 Mini, which had reasoning built into it in ChatGPT, I probably spent more time in Claude because it was just a little more natural in the replies. Uh, but it doesn't or didn't do, I think, until recently, external search that well. And it basically was falling behind in the other one. So I found myself switching back to ChatGPT and the OpenAI stuff because it had all these new features like the operator model and the tasks, those stuff, and that wasn't available in Anthropic. But I use those things, I switch back and forth, and I'll often play them off on each other, kind of doing the stuff that I need to do to get on base. And for me, it's creating YouTube videos as best as I can. Question was, where do you see using AI agents first for a startup? That's a good question. When you say a startup, do you mean someone who's just starting, or do you mean a technical startup? And then there's one. Have you used Google's Notebook LM for creating AI-powered courses? Well, we can do those in both. Maybe I think the one about AI startup, if you could just put in the chat kind of specifically if you had an example or what kind of startup you were thinking of, that would help me out if I want to get a response to that. If you use Google's Notebook for creating AI-powered courses. So that's the question. There's Blind Chick Tech. Welcome again. Nice to see you and talk to you again. So if you're not familiar and you're watching this after, there's a couple things you should know about the whole notebook space in Google. So if you haven't, make sure to go to aistudio.google.com. And that one will basically allow you to play with some of the AI tools that are available. And the ones that I have spent a lot of time on for AI powered courses is this one on the right-hand side where it has Gemini 2.0 Flash. Again, this is an experimental one, and these change all the time in the background. So this one's experimental. There's a couple things you should know about it, just looking at it, is make sure you're using the 2.0 Flash. And at the bottom, you see this one that says grounding with Google search. So if you select that, what it allows it to do is use Google search in its responses. If it's not selected, it only uses what it's trained on or what it's seeing during some of the demos. So I have played around with this particular one to create content for courses, but I have not actually used content from here as course material. So that's one to kind of just pay attention on. And I recommend that you play with this one a lot because if you're not familiar with it, this is a multimodal AI tool. And what that means is that you can say live in real time, talk to it live in real time, show it from your camera. So whether you're looking through your smartphone or you're showing, for example, looking like this right now, or if you've got your smartphone looking at something else, or even your screen, you can interact live with the AI tool and ask it questions and have it show stuff exactly, basically while you're using it. And that's multimodal. And then when I say multimodal, it really is multimodal. And what that means is if it sees a video and you're a pickleball instructor, It knows what you are. It knows what the paddle is. It knows what the ball is. It knows where you are in the court, and it knows the court. So it's not just mapping something moving around. It knows in context which of the pieces are there from the live camera feed that it's got to be able to reply to. And that's where this stuff is going. So that's why AI Studio is an important one to look at. The other one for creating AI content or AI powered content is experiments. There it is. So this one's called labs.google.experiments. And that's not the one I want. Well, let me see if I can get that. Where's the one there we go. So this is the other one to take a look at. And what this one is basically it's all of their experiments about stuff that they're working in the background on that isn't necessarily released yet. Now I've done a couple of videos on these ones, and if you go and just visit this, the ones that are there's Notebook LM on the right hand side, just where my mouse is moving up and down. That's the one that's there that we'll look at in a second. The other one is this one was kind of too cool, which was Video FX. And I did a video on this one because what this one does is it actually allows you to upload documents, PDFs, spreadsheets, that kind of thing. And it will actually create a video based on your documents. And I mean create a video. It will actually create graphics, do a script for you, do the edits, transitions, all of that material. So this one's kind of an experiment one. I would sure it's going to be coming out at some point, but if you want to, like, play around with that, and if you can. It says join the wait list here because of where I am locally right now, but if you're in the States, I think you might be able to actually see that. The other one that kind of neat on this one is, you go through here, image FX, that's text to images that's here, which is another really good, some examples to go through. I have a video on that one. And that one basically is you just give some text and it shows an actual image right out of the text. Really, really cool. What was the other one that they had here that was music, conversations, Google videos? That's the one, pardon me, that's the one that actually creates or adds images based on your documents that are there. So those are the ones that I saw. Those ones are all going to be, we're all going to be in a position where we can use our assets or things that we want and not necessarily have to record ourselves as a screen deck. We're going to be able to create these tools as quickly as we need. And think about it, you're doing the stuff with deep research, you're doing your chats, you're making documents, or you've got a research document, you give it to a tool like this and you've got a video created, your lesson materials created. All of those things are, again, happening really, really quickly, which is exciting. Okay, so we've got a guitar educational one just starting out, and for the membership. So here's, if you're asking, are you asking me specifically how I would do it or some things to consider when you're doing it? There's a couple different ways, actually, and I will talk about this because it's important. Here's my gist on, and again, rightly or wrongly, this is the way I look at it, and just consider this when you're thinking about it, is this is the difference between, let me do this one. Let me just do this. We'll do it this way. I like threes. I don't know why that works out. But if you're going to be creating this business, and it's an education business, there's kind of three ways that a lot of people look at it, or I see where things are happening. So the first one used to be courses, okay? And then the other one was memberships. And then the third one is campus. Let's try that again. Campus. There we go. So those are kind of the three spaces that I look at. And when you're starting out, a lot of people think if they're going to be in an education business, it's about creating individual courses. And when you're thinking about what do I create my content with, or if I'm going to use an AI business and I'm going to create courses, there's a couple questions that come up, and this will determine whether or not your AI content is something that you want to create yourself as the person that's the course creator, or if you're just creating courses for the sake of creating courses. And this is the thing that kind of plays in this space here. I didn't want to do that part, so we'll get rid of space there. Oh, let me try this. Just going to put that there. So if you're creating a course, you have to ask yourself, is it going to be is it going to be you as the course creator, or is it going to be multiple people? So a lot of times that I run into, people are the expert. Like if you're the one playing guitar in this example, and you're the only one playing guitar, are you the one that's going to be the course creator? Or do you have multiple people that are playing guitars or multiple instruments or are teaching different types of guitar? And are you going to be focusing on how do I use all of this course material and I'm going to be teaching? You have to decide kind of, am I going to be the teacher, or is it about creating content that is about how to play guitar? So, if it's you playing guitar, my personal suggestion is that it still has to be you doing it, supplemented by AI material. But I wouldn't start supplementing the AI material until you had a relationship or a trust and rapport with the people with you teaching it. So that's kind of the first approach that I look at. The other one is the membership, and what the membership does is they try and do is they try and do multiple courses in a paywall so that it's behind. And these kind of memberships in general, again, I'm talking in general, it's usually about content. So if someone's paying for a monthly membership, or you're set your business up as your membership, a lot of times is you have to add content all the time to keep people engaged. And some of the other things you may happen is you may have something, like a forum or some kind of engagement or way to keep people engaged, but it's not the easiest to get people started being involved in sharing stuff. It is doable, but again, it takes work, energy, and effort to do that. And these ones, when you're in a membership, and if you're the only one creating content, there's a lot of pressure on you to basically be creating personal content and or creating AI generated content that has value, that keeps people paying monthly or at least being engaged in that kind of membership model. So that's kind of the space that you have to decide. What am I doing? Courses, or am I doing membership? Or do I want to take it one step further and basically build out a personally branded campus, is what I'm calling it, where you have all of these things, but you also include courses, certification, gamification, workshops, live workshops, all of these things where it's basically a complete learning space. And that's, what I think is important here is the ability to be live. It's gamified. You have to have content. A lot of it, hopefully, is going to be user-generated content. You're going to have profiles, networking. So that campus is basically an education business, and that's why I focus on it. So if you're going to use AI tools, where do they fit in there? And it really depends on if you're going to be the expert. Then you supplement. I think you supplement your content with it. If you're going to be a course creator and you want to create just AI generated courses, I think it's going to be incredibly hard moving forward because there's going to be so many other people doing that. It's going to be kind of easy to whip stuff up, throw it together, use some of these cool tools I've been talking about, and say it's their own. So, I think personally, if you take a look at it long term, you want to try and build out a campus, or at least position yourself to do that. And I'm using AI to supplement my content, not create it. So hopefully that helps a little bit, just to put stuff in perspective. And again, these are all kind of things. There's a natural growth pattern to it, right? It's no yes and no answer. You have to be flexible enough to know, kind of in the long term, who is it I'm trying to help? What do I bring to the table? What are the things that are important to me and important to them? And what's my best way to fulfill my promise to them? So if you want to teach them how to play classical guitar, or be the lead guitarist in the most popular rock band, or play folk guitar, whatever it happens to be, whatever style and promise that you're making, it's like you got to figure out what's the best way to do it. And I think personally, my personal advice is to make sure that you're involved in the actual content that you're creating. I think that's kind of the big play moving forward. And in fact, it's funny you mention that because I was doing my rough notes up on a video, and I think and the reason I'm doing it is because of this deep research. You're going to be in a situation pretty quickly where someone's going to be able to give a task in deep research and basically have the scripts and stuff written out. But if they aren't personally involved in actually explaining or delivering the content, I think it's going to be a lot harder to sell that as something because there's no authenticity or rapport, those things in it. And the other thing is I think if you're going to be in an education business at all, this one here is the key right here. That's why I do live sessions, workshops once a week for the paid members where it's actual live implementation work. And I do these sessions right now is just so that people have the chance to actually talk to a real person. And that is a differentiator, I think, in a campus when you're teaching someone something and you're having it as an education business as opposed to I'm selling courses for the sake of selling courses. So hopefully that helps or puts it a little bit in perspective. Do I know the perfect answer for you? No idea what it is for you. You're going to have to investigate and find that out. And here's the other thing. Just if you haven't already, make sure and go and check out. Let me see if I can open this one here. I'm going to open up my mind maps here, and we'll see if we can get this one to go. If you can see these ones, these are all the maps basically that I put together when I'm doing all this stuff. On the course, while it's opening up, on the training site in the campus, on the left-hand side here, there's the campus map. Maybe I'll open up them here. The first couple steps on this is discover your perfect niche, topic, and theme. If you haven't done this, please do these. This is the one that I think is interesting for you right now where you are, is just making sure that you've kind of defined these things for your campus. It's like, what's the purpose of the campus for you? Do you have a unique selling proposition that you can market? Do you have a big fat claim or a transformation that you're going to be doing? Do you know who the audience is that you're going to be able to do this to? And do you have personal goals? Like, do you have a goal for yourself? And do you have a goal for the people that you're teaching? And those things are really, really important, kind of moving forward and doing all of this stuff. Let me just see if I have them. I think I'll open up the map. So all of this material's in the map, which is part of this course. And these are the things kind of, when you're doing it, there's some steps here to actually go through and do the work. So when you're thinking about the startup and the playing guitar and you're focusing on that, do this work up front, because if you don't, you're going to end up doing something. And this is something I see a lot of times is when people are creating a course, they'll often create the course that they think is the best course. When the fact is that you should never create a course for yourself unless you're the only person that's going to be buying it. The whole idea is to make sure that you understand the course that the other people need, that raised their hand and said, yes, I want to learn how to do this, or I want this transformation, or I want to know how to create courses with AI, or I want to know how to build a campus, or I want to know, how to use ChatGPT. Just make courses that are for the people that are going to be paying you, not for the ones that you think you should be making or want to make. So go through those if you haven't done those ones. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Excellent insights. Any other questions there? Ones that jump out? Let me clear that one. Yeah, here's the other thing with the live sessions. I do these ones, and you guys come up with some questions. These are all opportunities for me to basically clarify, repurpose, or reorganize the stuff in my head based on the questions that you're actually giving me. And that's another huge bonus of being able to do stuff live, whether it be a live stream like this or Zoom calls or anything where you're interacting with people. There's a huge value in getting real questions that people are having or struggles. And I know it's hard, if you use the example for guitar, It's like if you asked me to play guitar, you would go, oh my God, that's awful. And it's hard to teach something sometimes when you expect that everyone is at the same level as you are when you're doing all of this work. So, interacting with people, doing live workshops, finding out what works, what doesn't work with people, where they're having trouble, where they're not having trouble, allows you to bring your expertise and experience in and be able to share it, which does two things. You get a huge psychic income from it. And if you've got your business set up correctly, you have the option to monetize that in a really great way if you want to. And I think, that's the real bonus in that third example that I was showing you with the course membership campus, is that you can charge a lot more money in a campus for the content that you're creating and the benefit that you provide, as opposed to having to go and actually create courses and sell courses, which I think is kind of interesting. And that's where I see the space happening, just because people are able to create so much crap so quickly now. Okay, so here's one. You need an AI to manage the questions in chat while making them live. Yeah, absolutely. Let me go back to, I'm going to show you some stuff actually with, let me open this one up. I'm going to open up this screen here. I'm going to open up the Notebook LM, because there are some neat things that you can do with this. And I did it in another video, but I'll just bring this up again so that you can see it. Be the best way to do that. Yeah, okay. So if you haven't done this before, I'm going to open up my library here. And, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Did I go away from this page? Let me just close some of these. Oh, let's go to this one. We'll open it up again. I thought I still had it open. My apologies. Okay, so Notebook LM. Let's go in there, see where we are. Why is it asking me? Oh, what do we do there? Let's see if I get it. Loading my notebooks. There we are. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm logged in. Be a good one here. Yeah, so here's a couple things that you can do that I have been doing with Notebook LM. And again, if you haven't played with this, give me a thumbs up, or at least let me know if you've been playing with this, because that would let me know if everyone host your courses LMS. Okay, clarification, starting point within. Okay. Okay, need an AI to manage questions in chat. Yeah, and that's actually, some of the tools actually do that right now. What I want, and actually was doing this with a customer right now, is they have an AI bot, basically, that they have. And what they need to do is they've got documents and spreadsheets and videos and all of these materials that need to be available in this help desk chatbot. And they're trying to figure out, how do I add this material and create an FAQ out of it? So that is a simple example that you can use when you are playing around with Notebook LM. And the reason it is because this has 3 panels, right? So there's the sources, the chat, and the studio. Here's the part that's interesting here. When I originally did this, you can add up to 50 sources. Again, I'm a little bit confused on this, because one of the last times I did it, it said I could upload 500. But in my case, what I did is I added not all, a whole bunch of the last month's videos from YouTube. So I added those as sources. I also added some PDFs, other documents, and this is exactly what you can do with notebooks, so that when you're doing in the middle, actually doing prompts like ChatGPT to get answers, it's only looking at your material, not everyone else's material, unless you want it to, of course. So if you put all this information in, the first thing it does, it'll actually give you a summary of that. And any work that you do, if I type this in, for example, with one of the questions that oh, my apologies, I had the wrong screen on. Let me just do this quickly. So in the left-hand side, it's add sources. So we have all of our sources here. I added my videos and some additional documents. The middle section is like the chat from ChatGPT, and the studio's up on the right. So In my example I was showing you, I uploaded all my videos, or 16 videos, and I started just asking some questions here in the middle. By default, it'll give you like a paragraph overview of everything on the left-hand side. But in my case, it just gave me a quick synopsis. And on the back at the bottom, it's got some questions. And I can prompt in normally just like ChatGPT, and it uses Gemini to answer it. But then it gives me, for example, questions. It'll give me all sorts of information. So any of the prompts that you use right now, you can still use it here. Now, the cool thing with this is that when you get these, you can save them as a note. So if I had a bunch of documents that were available to me in the sources, what I could do is I could say, give me a summary of this video, this video, this video. I want to use them as FAQs. So I could prompt that. I could take a look at it and say, oh, those are pretty close. They'd be useful for FAQs. And if I want, I can save it to the notes. And when I save the notes, you can see what happened is it moved over to the right-hand side. So I had this one and I said, hey, that's a good one to have as a note. And when you have notes here on the left-hand side, you can delete it. But if you open it, one of the things you can do is, in the bottom here, it says convert to source. So if I take this note, I can convert it to source, which brings it over so it's in one of the sources. So this one, you can continue add sources and basically build out your database of all the information that you need of the responses you got, plus the original information that you've actually created, which is kind of cool. And the one that's here that is built in is this one called FAQ. So if I click FAQ now here, it's actually going to base an FAQ or create one on all of the information and the notes that we've added back to it, and create the FAQ. It goes through it. And you can be a bit more specific and say, look, I want 50 questions organized by these 3 categories created as an FAQ. And actually, it will build it out. It gives you the questions and answers to go through based on the content that you've created. So definitely, if you've got a lot of your own content and you are creating courses and or materials for courses, using this as a way to put it together is a really great way, because it gives the ability to create all of this additional content. So hopefully that part kind of helps. Again, it's one that I play around with and like. Let's Canadian want to avoid Canada. Yeah. I'm in Ottawa, by the way. USA, China, what were the find them? Is there options? I don't, there is actually. That's a good question. I'll talk about that one now and then we'll come back. One of the things that you're going to hear about, and this is what I've kind of been talking about, this is that other piece, I was talking about the chat, the research, and the tasks. You're going to hear a term, and I'll write it down just so that you see what it kind of is or what it is. And it's going to be, again, I'll call it RAG. So you're gonna hear this term RAG, and it's actually with periods in it. And if I go and I'm going to get the actual, thing, the actual definition of it, so that you see it and have it here. We do this. Where's one here? I don't even have ChatGPT open. Let me open it in a different place. There we go. We'll do a new chat just so that we have it. So I just said, what is RAG and how does it apply to ChatGPT? In this particular piece here, RAG is called Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's an AI framework that combines 2 powerful components: retrieval-based models and generative models. Here's how it works. So, and this is what I've been talking about for course creators. So this one is kind of important, and it answers the question that you're talking about. I can't guarantee, obviously, that the software that you're using, whether it's from China or the States or the UK or Italy, or I don't know that part. But here's the part that is going to be fun for course creators and content creators: is a retrieval augmented generation system means that you can have ChatGPT only work off of your content. So it doesn't go externally. It actually only uses or creates content from your content. So this is one of the things I've been talking about. I've got uh, 2,000 video tutorials that I've done over the last couple years. I've done 375 YouTube things. I had 41 courses that I created on kind of old school traditional digital marketing. I have all of that information. I've got terabytes of information that's stored with raw material. My bet and where I'm doing and hoping on this is that when we actually get to the point where we have those three pieces in place, and I think it's going to happen in 2025, is if I make it and have my rag or my data as the one that it pulls for, I see a future where someone comes to a site, they don't want a course, they want to know how to do something, and basically they're going to ask, I want to learn how to play pickleball. If I have 1,000 videos, the AI agent may say, well, have you played pickleball before? No. Where are you located? Do you have someone to play with? Well, no. So I'm playing singles and I'm a beginner. It will actually search through all of the videos, all of the content that's in my database as a content creator, and it's going to be able to put together the pieces that are appropriate for the person that's actually learning. So that's my understanding of where things are going. And if you think about that, that changes everything for us, not only in how we're creating courses now, but the fact that it's about the content we create and how we get creative about packaging it that is the exciting part. So, I think if you're a course creator and you're thinking of that as a business, it might be time to think a little bit bigger or just understand what you're getting into. I'm not saying don't create courses, just understand what a course is, who it's for, and what the value is for the people that you're actually providing it for. And as it gets easier and easier to create courses using these tools, you have to ask yourself, can I earn money if I focus on selling this course? Or do I have to do live workshops? Or do I have to do work with people? And not just count on the course as the money-making part of my business. So hopefully that kind of helps to think about in the back of your mind. One of the questions I had was for a campus, what are the pieces for a campus? Okay, three kind of campuses, and I'll touch on this one kind of last, and then we'll bring it in for a landing. So let's say, for example, there's five things to know when you're doing these campuses, and they all have to do, unfortunately or fortunately, with, let me just pick my, there we go. Okay. Hopefully you can see this one. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So when you have a campus, this is in the campus map course as well. You have a couple things to think of off the bat. You have to look, am I going to do it as a self-hosted one? And I've used the analogy of, do you want to buy your house or do you want to rent an apartment? When you buy your house, it takes a little more effort to keep up to date, but you have the flexibility of adding rooms, changing rooms, replacing things. You can do that. If you use software as a service, you're renting an apartment space and you're limited to the 1, 2, or 3 bedroom. You can't change walls. You can't change the cement ceiling. You have no control over that. It's a great place to live. You don't have to worry about stuff, but you're in an apartment that isn't yours. So that's the first thing you have to decide is, how am I going to kind of figure out which one's best for me? And the one that's best for you, this is number 5. It's not number 1. It's number 5 because whether you set your business up or your thing for courses, or if it's for a membership area, or if it's for a campus, that can kind of determine which of the ones are best for you if you've got those set as goals. So those are the pieces you kind of have to figure out. The one I use right now personally is a self-hosted kind of platform. And these are the kinds of things that you need for it. So you're going to need a place, obviously, to have a hosted WordPress site or managed site. You're going to be able to, you have to be able to kind of take care of your WordPress part. You're going to have some kind of shopping cart or way to protect or give access to parts and or courses of the site. You're going to need something for community, something for your courses. If you're doing gamification, you need it for gamification. If you're doing events, you need it for events. Directories, if you want people to be able to interact and see others' profiles, and then places for docs and downloads. So that's a stack of tools that are available, and I'll go through those in a little bit more information. If you're going to do it with someone else, you have kind of two choices for the software as a service. Some of them are course platforms, and those are ones like Teachable, Thinkific, Circle, Heartbeat. Those are kind of ones that are more about having the community and the course part, but it isn't about marketing automation or document management or not necessarily live events. Some of them do, some of them don't. So those are course platforms. And then the other ones you have are business platforms, which is something like Kajabi, or even Go High Level now is another one. And those ones have some of those pieces, but they're apartment ones. They're not flushed out. School, as an example, is partially, school is in that one, but it's maybe somewhere in between. Doesn't do all of these things all in one, but it does some of those things really well. And generally, when you use the ones that are in this business platform or course platform, you have to connect stuff anyway to it. So I use the self-hosted one. And when I do that, right now, the way I've got it set up is, I'll just show you the pieces that I have here. This interface for the community right now, this is Fluent Community. And again, I have affiliate links if you're not familiar or have this one. This is called Fluent Community, which just came out 3 months ago. And I've been one of the beta testers for this one. Fluent Community has like a Facebook interface. This interface looks very similar to Circle, SO, some of the other ones that are in that space, but it has all of these, stuff where you can basically go back and forth. It has the courses, which are the ones that hopefully you've been looking at, and it's a simple course setup where it's organized lessons. And if I go through these as an example, you can see that I can put videos in, I can have comments, I can add documents. This is regular stuff, and on the right-hand side, it's set up in lessons. So this is a real simple lesson setup. The other one that you will find is people will talk about ones called LearnDash, which is the one I previously used. And then also you'll hear Lifter LMS, which is another WordPress one, and another one called Tutor LMS, which are the popular ones. Those are all really great platforms if you want more sophisticated courses like quizzes, certifications, homework, assignments, more sophisticated dripped courses. Those are ones that you can use and I have used in the past. So we've got community, we've got the courses. I've also got a plugin on this one called Modern Event Calendar, which has all of these live streams and things that are set up here. There's two, the Events Calendar, Modern Event Calendar are plugins for WordPress that work really well. I also have on this one, if I go back to the community, you'll see a couple other pieces that are kind of hidden. All of my prompt library. This one here is called Better Docs. This is a knowledge base document management plugin that's here. So everything here is a WordPress plugin. So that's my knowledge base available to organize external stuff that's complementary to the courses or doesn't really require an entire course. That one's there. The other ones that are here that are kind of interesting is I do have an affiliate program. You're automatically an affiliate. You don't even have to sign up. You are. We've got on this one here, I've got a support desk. This is Fluent support. I also have Fluent boards to manage products, but there's my help desk tickets are all available for you. I have project management that's in here. So if you're working on one of the packages that I have, for example, for the mentoring or the coaching or any of the services that we do, all the projects are here in that section. So there's a whole bunch of kind of pieces there. Let me just go, I don't know if they have, would be a good one to do. Do you have a couple other things just to look at which might work? I do have members, so there's a member profile that's part of Fluent Community, and also have groups or spaces, which is part of Fluent community, and then also the leaderboard for part of the Fluent community. So again, this is all my space, one place, ready to go. And that's the way I'm keeping it, trying to keep it a little more simple. And because the people that I'm talking to don't necessarily want big courses. I had big courses or ones that had certification, things like that. A lot of people right now just don't finish courses because they're either too big and or they're too complicated to get through, or do all of the pieces that can be done because they are sophisticated platforms for it. Public training data. Okay. Campus is the way. All right. Perfect. Rag sharing among experts could be. Yes, rag sharing's definitely that whole space of data storage. Huge. It's going to be absolutely huge. And it's going to be, you're going to see big companies are going to be keeping their data inside. A lot of people, like one of the things that caught my eye, and if you haven't had a chance, go and watch the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. The guy from NVIDIA was there. And one of the things he announced that I don't think people noticed is I think about halfway through, he announced that they had a computer called, I think it was called Digit, was $499. It's going to be released this month or next month. And it was basically an open AI computer. So you can go buy one of these. And this goes to that question of Chinese, worrying about where your data is and stuff. You're going to be able to buy a $400 or $500 computer in your home office, at your office, have it set up to your data, and basically have an internal ChatGPT based on it. So that's stuff that's coming. And again, that machine is available this month or next month for $500. And if you hook it to your Notion account, if you've got stuff on Notion, any kind of database, spreadsheets, any of those tools where you're storing your information, that's your opportunity to actually be in control of what it is that you're trying to present to people, and making sure that it's safe or inside. Okay. Pre-videos are in live and want a community with gamification. Could you okay. What's bolt.new? I'm not familiar with that one, so let's go take a look at it quickly and see what that one is. And then it's 2:02, so I'll bring it in for a landing after that. Is Bolt TV? Hey, Lego. Cool. Is that the right one? It's funny you mentioned Bolt. If that's actually the one. Oh, Bolt new. The only reason I'm mentioning Bolt, because they're showing Lego, this is the way that I've been talking to myself and other people about what we need to do as course creators is think of ourselves as, I think it was yesterday's video, think of ourselves as creating the blocks, and think of the open AI that's coming and this deep research and these agents and stuff as the one they're going to help. How do I put the blocks together to either guide people or show people how to build a person, how to build a truck, how to build a fire truck, how to build a racetrack? So we're creating these little blocks. OpenAI is helping people put them together or helping us put together. And it's going to be flexible. So if someone says, I want a truck and it's red, you're going to be able to know which are the red blocks that I need, which are the black blocks I need for the tires, or the white blocks, or what have you. So that's kind of neat that it came up on that one. So let me go back and let's see if we can get that one again. What one was it? It was Bolt, bolt.new. Okay. Pringles, yeah. Hey, oh, I haven't played with this one. Okay, what do you want to build? Prompt, run, edit, deploy full stack web apps. Perfect. There's a classic example of how this is going to work. One that I did, again, funny you mentioned this. That one I haven't played with. I probably should do a video on it. One of the things that I did here, and I did it in the video yesterday or the day before, just talking about this, is I did, where's the one that I did? Let me just put in. This is actually on trainingsites.io videos. These are the YouTube videos. I don't have all of them in, but I have some of them in. Let me see if I can, there we go. So here's one where I use ChatGPT o3 Mini, the new one, which does create web apps. And what I did on this one is I asked it to create a chat that would basically be an FAQ based on the content on my site. So, or on my on in the rag that I had. So wanted to find out how to edit video. Oh, and that one didn't have an answer on that one because it's not attached to a rag, it's a demo. I think there was one that I had on video edits. Oh, no, I don't remember the term that I had. I did this as a demo video just to show how this would work. And this basic chat prompt, I think would work something similar to that Bolt New that you were talking about, is I basically said, build a chat that I can add to all of my lessons to be an embedded FAQ that would use ChatGPT to respond to any questions that the learner had, either about the specific lesson and or the entire site. So that built out the code, the HTML code, the JavaScript, everything was done for me and created that. And I had it just as an example done there. Now, what that one didn't do, it wasn't connected to a Notion account where all my data was, or a spreadsheet. It was just a proof of concept that was there. But I would suspect that that thing from Bolt that you were showing would be able to do the same kind of thing. So that's a good example of where things are coming and where things are going with that. Okay, anything else? Hugging Face, yeah, GitHub. Again, I'm not a coder by any means. Those particular sites, I think, for me are too technical, but all cool stuff that you're going to be able to build out, attach to your own data, and have as stuff that's creating lessons. So that one, okay, great. I better bring it in for landing. I've been talking for an hour and 6 minutes again. I get started on this stuff. I can't stop. Kind of fun. I enjoy it. If you want to learn more, I'd love for you to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the reminder button, all that cool stuff, and just go to trainingsites.il/join. Come join the site. Ask me questions. Here to help. If I don't know, I'll find out how it works, what I need to add, and any of the content that I am creating is here. The only thing that I do charge for is all of the live workshops that I do with people who want to take it to the next step. So think of all of this as do-it-yourself content. If you want done with you, you're going to look at these particular pieces here: content creators, site builders, and marketing lab. And if you're really, really, really excited, you can go to something like this page, and basically I have some mentoring programs and coaching and stuff that you can do as well. We even have a managed campus service as well. So that's how my business is set up. I'm giving away my DIY content. I'm charging for the live workshops, and I provide additional services and materials in and around running all of these for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back again next week. If you haven't had the chance, again, make sure to join the site and I think next week, let me just go and see next week what we've got come up. Next week on Wednesday, we do these every Wednesday, live at 1 o'clock. But on next week is, Content Creators Workshop. So for any of the paid members, we're going to be doing all about creating content using AI tools like this. So we'll go the prompts and we'll actually do the work live during these sessions. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go and upgrade and get access to it. And every week, we do a live session just talking about how to start, build, and grow your education business. Sorry, I wasn't showing the page there. Let me just do that quickly before I forget so that you see where it is. Classes, there it is. So every week I do a live workshop, and we have the live stream, which is here. So the next one here is the Content Creators Workshop, and this is for people that were actually doing the work with it. So hope you enjoy that. Had fun, kind of cool stuff. Get ready. It's even going to get crazier sooner. So that'll be it for today. James speaking, trainingsites.io. Thanks again. Bye.